All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 2 of CELTS versus IFHE. In this case, we have swapped team sides. So the green team, the green side, is IFHE, and their lineup should be very familiar to you guys. Shokaku, North Carolina, double Amalfi, Japayev, double Akizuki. The big change, in my opinion, is on the red team. This time, CELTS choosing to bring a North Carolina, an Alabama, a Baltimore, a Belfast 43, an Otago, a Le Terrible, and an Akizuki. So they have decided to drop their carrier in favor of an additional battleship on, I believe, a larger map.
No, this is actually a smaller map. North is 48 by 48, and Northern Waters here is 42 by 42.
Oh, okay. My
Yeah,
apologies. So that could actually work in their favor. The reason I was bringing up the map size is because as the map shrinks, the battleship has a greater influence on the battle, so to speak. The speed of the carrier's planes aren't as much of an impact. So,
Yep.
cool. All right. Well, Raptor, what are you seeing right off the bat for initial deployments? Anything special?
Well, we're watching basically a 4-3 split here from the south spawn. That's CELTS sending Alabama, Otago, and the Tarib over to C.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Tarib pick, especially here on this map. That's going to give them the ability to flex that destroyer kind of where they need it. He does have to be a little careful. The Shokaku can hound him, but with a lot of the rocket changes that have come into being of late, I don't know that he is a massive threat to that Tarib in the way he once was. But I will say, Zaf, I really like the Alabama pick. I feel like that since the secondary changes to skill points at the beginning of this year, that Alabama has surpassed Massachusetts as kind of the South Dakota of choice if you're looking to take a Sodak. And I'm excited to see what they do with this Alabama.
Yeah, you keep talking about that, but I gotta say, man, that the extra ability to get the heal up quicker, the repair party consumable faster for the Massachusetts, can still have a huge impact on the battlefield compared to in Alabama. Both are really good choices, quite frankly. So it's nice to see. And then in North Carolina, of course, has that slightly better Sigma, which can, definitely reward good aim, as we saw at the previous battle.
Now, one of the things you're seeing here, Zaf, is a very particular strategy that IFHE is deploying. They've got the Amalfis hanging out north of the A cap, okay? And they look like they're basically setting up as like kind of a harassing, kiting flank over there. Basically, everybody else on the team is driving hard through the B cap, heading south. And I'm not sure that CELTS is going to be ready for this when it comes. In fact, I'm actually curious, can they... Yeah, this is the trick. Without the carrier, they're they really can't see this push developing. They're just now making contact with the Akizuki and the Tarib, kind of the lead element there, trading some shots. But it's going to be interesting to see because the Aki smoke is going to occlude the team moving through there. And so if CELTS isn't careful, they might find this flank kind of getting rolled up very quickly.
Absolutely. So they should know by now that at least one destroyer is there and at least one cruiser is there. They just don't know the extent of how many assets are coming in this direction. Like you said, because they did not bring a carrier, they're forced to basically spot by being shot at, which for Le Terrible, it can work.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this Tarif getting triple teamed by double Akizuki and Shapayev. He's trying to use the islands, but the Shokaku is keeping him lit. He's burning very nicely now. Yep. And the torpedoes, I'm sure, are going to come around for another shot.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And this is the value of a carrier, right? You've got the ability to isolate a target and basically whittle it down, work it down to nothing. So, will we see Z go down? I don't think it's going to happen right away, but he's definitely in trouble.
He's trying to dodge the torps. He does take some more cruiser fire, able to dodge the torpedoes. Got some hard cover now, but he is burning again.
Meanwhile,
go ahead.
I was gonna say over on the A cap on the western side of the map, we see the two Amalfi set to kite away and try to slow down the play. But look at this: the North Carolina from CELTS has already been turned back around, and looks like the Belfast 43 and Akizuki are also coming through the mid to try to reinforce and perhaps trap IFHE in position, as the Baltimore is basically going to sit there and just hold the cap for the Dominion.
Yeah, it feels like maybe this kind of push through the 7-8 line over here has not really materialized as quick as they might have wished, and they're giving Celts the opportunity to react, right? They're bringing
Yes.
Vipers North Carolina back across the G line, across the bottom of the board, and if they end up with both battleships on that flank, that's going to make it almost impossible for this push to succeed, in my opinion.
Right. One of the things about a push is if you have to go all in and you have to make it go right through, you can't really stall and slow down. Unfortunately, when whichever front Akazuki smoked for the other Chapayev and the other Akazuki, they slowed down, took advantage of the free shots, but as you can see, now they're farther back as a result.
Indeed. Now, if I'm Celts from the bottom spawn here in red, I'm that Chapayev is the target that I really want to try and get eyes on.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lead right now, right? We're only 6 minutes into this game. They've got about a 140-point lead because they have a cap advantage. But you know that those Akis are trying to work into this cap. There's some more smoke going up. That's going to allow the Akis to kind of begin to farm Involuntary Souls Alabama a bit, with the Shikaku chipping in some fires on the rockets.
Absolutely. So it's gonna be a race to see who can essentially kill out the battleship first. You know, is the Bama gonna get farmed down?
Oh!
What do we see? Ah, like terrible just goes down.
Yeah, the Littereed came around the corner of this island in the middle of the board. I don't think they quite knew where the North Carolina was. He came around in full view of the North Carolina. The North Carolina absolutely was ready for him, turned, and took him out. He did get his torpedoes off. He might be able to sneak one of those into the stern of Mr. Sock as he goes by, and they do.
Yep, we just saw that replay. We just saw that replay. Definitely looked like there was a bit of surprise action there. That's what I was talking about with the race to see who can kill the battleship first. I thought that the Le Terrible was going to go in and full YOLO, but he was so low health he really couldn't do that, unfortunately.
All kinds of focus fire now. Yep, all kinds of focus fire now on Involuntary's Alabama. In fact, he's about to turn. If he overturns too much, he's gonna just barely dodge his torpedo. But it's not gonna matter in the end. The Akis are gonna farm him down.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Fortunately, a replacement battleship is just arriving.
Well, one of the things we are seeing, Zaf, is we're seeing the impact of the lack of radar on this flank, right? Both of their radars have been chilling in the A-cap. They brought back the battleship. I like that play. I feel like they should have brought back one of the radars after seeing what these guys were doing with the double Lockheed Chapayev smoke cloud, right? They did it last game, too.
Yeah. A few minutes ago, I was talking about that. I had literally thought they were just going to plant the Baltimore there and send everybody else back to the middle, but they didn't. They just turned it back around and said, no, go back up and kill the kiting Amalfis, because that's totally going to work.
Yeah, they're continuing to chase these Amalfis up the 2-3 line, and it's just really not going to amount to much at the end of the game, right? Because the game is not going to be won on that flank now that there's been a lead change and they're down 2 ships.
Right. Right, and then meanwhile, you've got the Otago in North Carolina for Celts just backed into a corner, essentially, here. What can they do?
Without radar on this flank to break into the Chapayev Aki smoke mess, there's really nothing they can do, in my opinion.
Look at the hero play going on north of A. Look at the Akazuki coming around on this Amalfi.
What are you... Why? Why? What are you doing? You're only down 60 points. Like, you get a kill, you can still win this, but not if you get 3 salvoed off the board, which is exactly what's about to happen.
Here comes the IFHE slap.
Yeah, like... SAP will turn you into paste very quickly. Goodness gracious. I don't know if that's a misplay or just frustration kind of rearing its ugly head.
Yeah.
You know, Zach, I gotta really hand it to IFHE, right? For a team that took 1 radar and 1 carrier, it feels like they have absolutely controlled vision in this game. Just like these guys came to this game with a plan of how they were going to make this lineup and this team arrangement work for them. Yeah. And they have executed it, I won't say flawlessly, but they've certainly executed it incredibly well. And Celts has really just struggled to adapt and respond to it.
Well, we just saw a moment ago the Wargaming stream. They dropped the view of the green team, so we just looked at it from Team Red. Nice hit there. Wow. And we just looked at it from the Celts perspective, and Celts could not see any ship.
Yeah.
any ship.
Yeah.
So talk about vision. There it is.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's what it all comes down to at the end, right? Like if you can't see the enemy to shoot at them, it there's not much you can do. And between the carrier and the Chapayev cloaked in smoke, they've done just a brilliant job of keeping vision on the targets that they needed to see, and denying the opponent vision on the targets that they wanted to protect. Again, namely, in my opinion, that Chapayev and the Akazukis.
Oh yeah, the Akazuki Chapayev Death Snail. These guys
Yeah.
are doing work.
Yeah.
They've practiced this. It's obvious they know what they're doing.
I really did like the double battleship play. And I feel like they could have made that work really well for them. The trick was they needed to put a radar on each cap.
Yes.
Rather than load all the radar onto one cap, onto the A cap, I believe it was, on the left flank, right? They needed to send a little bit of radar to each cap. If you're going to win by controlling caps, especially in without a carrier, you need that ability to spot things. And lacking it all fell apart for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, well, guys, this match is done. Game 2 over. Congrats to IFHE. They're going to be moving on. We'll have a look at Game 3 here in just a few minutes, but for now, let's send it back to the studio.